Hey guys, Spencer at Z1. Today we're taking a look at our Road Race V2 kit. This is a collective of a lot of my favorite products, really applicable for 350Z, HR, the G35 equipped HR sedans, 370Z, and G37 if you've got a manual transmission. Those vehicles are plagued, in my opinion, with the factory CSC, the hydraulic release bearing, and they're failure prone. They definitely don't work well with upgraded or high tip environments when you start abusing them. Even the factory dual masses get loose and get a lot of play in them and can lead to shorter lives. So oftentimes we have customers that are going into the transmission anyways. Maybe it's for a clutch upgrade, oftentimes it's for a repair to address the CSC, and it's a really good time to decide, do you want to try and get it back to stock behavior, or do you want to go ahead and make that upgrade at the same time? Let's just get into the parts. I'll go over what I love about this kit. In the Road Race kit, you get our lightweight flywheel. So this is a pretty significant savings, about 50% versus the stock dual mass. You also remove that failure point from the system. So benefits are way more responsive, all the revs. You're gonna feel like you free up some power, essentially. The only trade-off for this, being a performance part like any lightweight solid flywheel, is that the low end at idle, if you have a low idle, may have a little bit of gear lash noise that you hear back through, or if you load it up low in the RPM, it won't quite have as much torque as the heavier flywheel, the stock dual mass, or maybe our iron flywheel. If you're looking for that, be sure to check that out. But this is the Road Race kit. It's made to be driving a Z or G as we intend, which means using the revs a little bit up in there and enjoying how it drives. On top of the response with the flywheel, you get our upgraded pressure plate. So this is about 3,000 pounds clamp, maybe a little over that, and you get a choice in the kit for your option of disc. The only discs in the Road Race kit are solid hub, so these are lighter, significantly lighter than a dampened clutch disc. We offer a 240mm version, which is the same size as some of these stock applications, and an upgraded 250. For me, I actually like the 240 better. We've got so much clamp that we can hold 600 horsepower in a road race type usage with either, but you have less mass on the 240mm. So when you go to make that gear change and we're shifting at 7,800, 8,000 RPM, we push our clutch in, we're letting go of this thing so we can make the next gear change. We've got to slow all that down. That means the gear set, the counter shaft in the transmission, back up to the input shaft, and this disc left at 8,000 RPM where you went clutch in. We've got to basically slow all that down with a synchronizer so that we can get the gear speed and the shaft speed to match for the next gear change. That's how it works inside there. The gears are meshed together all the time. If you're hearing grinding, it's actually synchros and ball rings that you're hearing, that you're damaging, and we want to take the strain off that. Just like making your car stop easier. If you took 1,000 pounds off the car with the same brake kit, it would feel a lot more nimble and responsive to the brakes with the same effort, with the same parts on it. There's no difference here. This is mass in motion. We need to slow it down. We're going to trade that off with a friction. And we want it to be as fast as possible, or if you're like me, you want the shifts to be happening as fast as possible without damage on the transmission. So lightest parts, great option to choose. I like the 240. The 250 is almost right there with it on the speed you can make the shifts, but very, very nice. The other element of the Road Race kit is the conversion to remove the hydraulic release bearing, okay? So we get rid of that factory CSC, the failure prone, and we beef it up with updated parts. That starts with our front cover. So you'll get a replacement in the kit now. It's the CNC machined. You get a nice anodized finish. Gets a OEM input shaft seal that's already going to come in it. Each kit will come with a gasket. You'll have a choice of locating shims depending on what bearing is in your transmission. You're going to nest those and set it up together so you'll be just fine. That'll keep your input shaft from wiggling. This is an improvement over the outgoing kit where we're using OEM covers for years. We never noticed much of an issue on that, but when our designers were going back after this, they recognized, hey, opportunity to improve it, to hold tighter tolerance, and they've improved that for the kit. So very nice there. Once you bolt that on, you're going to mount your pivot ball and pivot to the fork. Fork is 4130 heat treated. This is forged steel. The thing gets a gas nitride finish. This one's like in a darker shade of black. You're gonna grease this guy, grease these points where they're gonna ride on this nice steel sleeve that we're providing. Genuine Koyo throwout bearings. We don't short on any of that stuff. This is the same thing we would want to run in any of our own vehicles. We're not gonna provide you any different than that. that's going to set everything up inside the housing. They'll provide you with directions and which shim to use on the pivot ball. So this is simplified compared to our outgoing CSC elimination in the V1 kit, where you need to take more measurements and do a calculation. We've tried to make that a bit friendlier. On the outside, that continues with a stainless steel bracket that's going to mount your push type slave cylinder instead of the old pull type that we used to use, and you'll get some heat shields to protect those bits from, you know, a vehicle that we expect to be seeing a lot of red line duty, a lot of heat. So there's an exhaust in the area. We try to beef that up as well. You will get our insulated, radiant, reflective clutch line, and each kit will also include some brake fluid that's suitable for the job so you're not boiling it. Aside from the optional choice you have on the disc, the only thing that I would recommend you consider at the time, and this is model specific, is consider picking up a master cylinder. It's not in the kit, it's not required, but oftentimes on these systems, if they're not flushed frequently and maintained well, materials from the old hydraulic release bearing actually get into the hydraulics, and you'll see metal and debris in these reservoirs. They're gross. When you open a system up completely and it drains out, it all goes in here. So that can lead to a failure or a challenge to bleed when you're going back together with it. My recommendation, if you're doing the job, go ahead, just grab yourself a master cylinder and tackle it all in one shot. So Z1 Road Race Clutch Kit V2, pop off faster shifts. You still get external hydraulics should you ever need to service them. You're not having to drop your transmission again. Much more robust cover, all the premium parts, and you get fantastic performance whether you're running naturally aspirated or forced induction. Great for the street. It's going to be a little stiffer, but this is very drivable. You can slip it, engage it to take off and stop go traffic, or, you know, drive it to the track, beat on it all day, and drive it back home. You guys have questions on this? What else pairs with it well? You're looking to take your Z or G to the next level? Feel free, reach out, ping us, let us know how we could support you or what you want to see next.